Welcome to Mythical Phylogeny Adventures. I'm your guide, Jason. We've got all sorts of races in mythology. Horse people, dog people, bird people, scorpion people, and snake people. But many aren't well known, and the one I want to look at today is the Naga. The Naga come from Hindu and Buddhist mythology and have spread throughout Asia. They are said to live in the netherworld, the underworld, also called Patala. Though this isn't a place of dread and darkness, it is filled with beautiful groves, lakes, and plentiful jewels. They are said to be part human and part snake, usually that of a cobra. So similar to the Lamia and the Echidna from Greek mythology. But due to them being widespread throughout the region, there is a few other variants. Some where they are human with snakes on their head, it's more like a Medusa-like figure. And others are mostly serpent. In addition, from regions like Cambodia and Laos, we see them more as a multi-headed dragon. Now, I'm betting we have a few people here who are big WoW heads, clocked a few 100,000 hours in World of Warcraft. And if you did, I'm betting you dealt with an aquatic fish and eel race known as the Naga there. And this is actually pretty simple. In addition to snake, they've also been described as dragons and water spirits. They are often associated with rivers and lakes, as they make their home there too, yet a few choose to live in caves. So it is a change, but not as big as you might think. It is known that they like to keep their watery homes clean. They are the children of the Hindu sage, Kashyapa and Kadru. So there is some divine heritage to their origins, and that is how they are treated. In some parts, they are considered the divine rulers of dragons. The females are called the Nagini, or Nagi, and their king is called the Nagaraja. And we got the name of a few of them, Shisha, Vasuki, and Takshaka, among many, many more. They are said to possess a deadly venom which can kill human, but they are more commonly seen as a benevolent factor, even protecting and aiding humans, and in the Buddhist version, that would include Buddha. They also aided the Devas in guarding them from the Asura. There is also a tale of a Naga attempting to become a monk, yet it wasn't able to. But Buddha told the Naga how to be reborn as a human in its next life, so that it could become a monk. And this is surprising, because there are legends of Yetis becoming monks, coming from around Nepal. So is this due to body type? Probably not. While fantasy games will often conflate monk and martial artists, the historical context would be more of the monk being a kind of cleric. The reason could be due to their divine heritage. Their interactions with humans have been very direct at times, including marrying humans and having families. Most of these families end up being part of the royal family for the region. Of course, as is the case with any creature, there are times when their interactions go bad. In the case of the Naga, they are associated with floods and droughts. This is more common to occur when they are disrespected. Pretty unsurprising for a creature associated with the waters. Most mythical water creatures tend to have some concept of duality tied to them, due to how water is being critical for survival of the world and the danger that comes with being around it. So, there's actually a bit about them. But we can make a few things out. Let's start with their biology. For this, let's settle on the most common version, that is the human torso with a snake tail extending from there. And there are a few issues. We can't just take two creatures and smash them together, especially when organ layouts are very different. Snakes have their internal organs elongated to fit their body shape, yet won't work with a shorter human section. But there is a simple solution. Keep the lungs and heart isolated to the human chest area. This will leave the entire digestive system to spread along the snake section. In addition, we would benefit from adding the human's diaphragm to its anatomy. Though they will likely lose some flexibility in the human section. Snakes lack a sternum, which links the ribs together on the front, but if we are going to add the human arms, we would benefit from using the sternum to stabilize the rib cage for strength and mobility of the shoulders. But we don't need to expand it down to the rest of the snake's rib cage. The next issue that comes are a few muscles, like the latissimus dorsi, which does reach down to the pelvis. But snakes don't have those bones, but the lats do also attach to the spine, so that will need to be the primary attachment point. Without doing this, it is likely that their strength would decrease, and thus incapable of achieving the superhuman status that is spoken about. Now, they are said to have a venom, and since they are often compared to cobras, we can assume a similar type. No, not all venoms are the same. In the case of cobras, we are looking at a neurotoxin. That means it'll target your nervous system. Likely, you'll feel tingling after a bite, and eventually paralysis, though it won't be dangerous until it paralyzes your heart and lung muscles. So a pretty nasty way to die. So, what happens if you get on the bad side of a Naga? Most likely, this is going to be because you dishonored and disrespected the Naga. That means the most important thing to do is be respectful when you meet one. In addition, don't pollute and dirty their rivers and lakes. This should be pretty simple to be honest, but someone is going to screw that up, right? If that happens to be you are looking at facing a creature which varies from full snake to humans with a halo of snakes to a dragon. For simplicity, we will go with the half snake version, since it is the most common. Most likely, this fight will be occurring near some body of water. And that is going to be an issue. The Naga are well documented possessing some forms of magic and power. They are said to create floods, which can wash you away. That's something you need to avoid. If it does, get to high ground and stay out of the water. If you have magic, I would choose water breathing and water walking in this situation. But there are other spells which will help out here. Most likely, the Naga will be in or near the water, and that means lightning is going to be my first choice, so long as you can remain out of the water too. In addition, ice magic is likely going to be a great way to trap it. Since they are part reptile, they might be susceptible to excessive cold and go into hibernation. Though be sure to question this. Some do call them part dragon. Fire is going to be questionable and unlikely with so much water. When it comes to weapons, I want reach. It can rear back on its serpent body and quickly get its chest out of your range. A spear would be perfect, if not a bow and arrow. Your ideal striking position is going to be the chest if I am right about its anatomy. Blows to its snake body will likely lead to more infections and less likely to be immediately fatal. A sword strike on the snake section is better though, since it can cut apart the core and trunk muscles which are needed for mobility. If that happens, it will likely render the Naga unable to move very well. Now, they are smart, and that means that they could easily use weapons of their own. For them, I would choose a bow and arrow, or a spear as well. If they want to protect their lower body, they will need to crouch and coil up. From this position, they can lunge and cover a long distance in an instant. This is when they will be the most difficult with a sword or a spear. They do have one final weapon, and that is their venom. Most likely, they will need to bite you to inject it, but there may be some which can spit it. Yet how far can they spit? A few feet likely. So be ready. If so, a shield will be the best against a spitting attack, but plate against the bites. Chainmail would do little to stop the fangs, and gambeson is likely going to break. Now, venomous serpents are usually lacking in physical strength used for constriction, instead focusing on speed for the first bite. So I am willing to bet that if it would try and constrict you and crush you, that it can't pull it off. Even if it can't crush your lungs this way though, it could bind your arms and legs. If it tries this though, the most important thing to do is keep your hands free. If your hands get caught, you've made a mistake and can't fight back. Rather than pull the serpent body off, you want to unwind it, start at the tail end, and unwrap it. This also puts you in the prime position to stab at its spine. This will paralyze it and let you win, but it won't be easy. Overall, the Naga is actually going to be a bit difficult of a foe. They are likely going to have some additional types of magic up their sleeves, and their body type will make things difficult. They are strong enough to protect the gods, and I'm going to give them a 5 or 10 for difficulty. This is a foe which is best to not antagonize to begin with. If you slay the Naga, there are a few things to get. You get the usual things from the remains like the hide and meat, but there are more important things. Like the jewels which they are said to carry with them. Those will be worth more than anything else you can get from their body. But that is still small compared to the real price. Not fighting and slaying the Naga, but instead allying yourself with them. The Naga are known to protect the gods and Buddha. They are known to be high-profile bodyguards. And if you could befriend them, that would be at your side. Not to mention, they can offer protection to an area and the people within. There's reasons that they are revered, and you should share the same respect for them. They will keep you out of the fight, and potentially get you some assistance. The Naga is an interesting take on a snake creature, or a water spirit. While they are dangerous, they aren't as malicious as other snake creatures. Though, I do wonder how the idea of the Naga, Lamia, and Echidna all tie together. Which do you think came first? All have existed for well past 2,000 years, so it's hard to tell. Thank you for watching, adventurers. Please return next time. Until then, I'll see you on the roads.